Everyone, it's Michael here at Home Health Success Academy, and welcome to another one of our videos. Welcome to our Hiring a Marketer video series. You're watching the third video of a 5-part video series. So if you haven't watched the previous 2 videos, please go ahead and take a look at those first. That may help you even more. But in this video, we're going to be discussing, interviewing a marketer that's applying for a job with you guys. Now, a lot of owners, a lot of bosses, a lot of managers, they pride themselves that they are great interviewers, right? So, that's perfectly fine. So let me go ahead and share with you guys things that I do with people that I actually interview. Now, before somebody gets invited to be interviewed in my team or gets invited to work for me for that interview, we already had a process. We already gave them the expectations. We already told them the pay scale. So if they had any objections with those, they would not have passed and got into the interview. And also the main thing is that there are some people out there who are really great at interviews, but they really suck at the job. It's just the truth, right? So the interview, we don't just go, tell me about you, right? That's the biggest problem with a lot of interviews is that you're pretty much just having the person tell you about their resume that they gave you, right? And the thing though is you really still don't have anything about this person in front of me. So our interview process begins with the interview, within the us actually inviting them for an interview. So let's say we call somebody, we say, hey, listen, we want to be able to have you come in for an interview. Before we even have a real interview, we'll just have a 30-second talk just to be able to hear them in the phone. And the reason for that is I want to see that, does he have a good, comforting voice? Is his voice going to be something that's going to be good for marketing? Now, just to let you guys know, I've dealt with marketers who have that stern, heavy voice, and they work well, and also have the ones who are a little bit more caring and energetic, and that's perfectly fine too. It doesn't matter, right? But I just want to be able to hear them. If they talk in the phone and they're like very soft and very weak and they just don't want to project their voice, then I'm already thinking I'm having a problem already. So they may have a couple minus points for me in that. The next thing is this. We'll set up the interview, and let's say, for example, the interview is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If that person does not arrive in our facility 10 minutes, more than 10 minutes before the interview, then I'm already saying, okay, couple points minus in this person already. Because just because your meeting is at 3, that doesn't mean you show up at the door at 3. So we're literally starting an interview. They don't even know it yet. We're already judging them. And then the next thing is when they actually approach and they introduce themselves to the receptionist, what they don't know either is the receptionist already is paying attention to them already, right? So the receptionist will then message me and say, hey, Michael, your interview is here already. So-and-so, right away. And so I'm like, okay, perfect. Just let them be there. And then what happens is we do what we call a chill moment. We actually purposely make them wait out there for about 5-7 minutes just to see how their facial reaction is, right? It's those small, subtle, nonverbal body language that we try to look into. Do they seem like pissed? Are they saying something? Sometimes they end up calling somebody in the phone, and there's nothing wrong if they use the phone, they call somebody while they're waiting. I have nothing wrong with that. The problem is we're trying to listen to see what are they talking about with another person in the phone, okay? Are they trash talking already? Are they saying some stuff? They don't even know that the receptionist is already part of the whole interview process, right? Okay, so once we get the person in and once they come into our facility, now we have our meeting, typically a lot of managers and owners will do that. Okay, sit down, and then the manager and owners will sit behind their desk, right? I don't do that in that sense. For me, wise, when I'm interviewing somebody, I will literally sit across them. Meaning, let's say, for example, we're in one of those conference tables. If they're sitting in a chair, I'm going to sit in the chair next to them, facing them. The reason for that is I want to see how comfortable they are already with a one-on-one talk, being in front of a person. Right? I want to see, is he showing some body language that he's uncomfortable? Because guess what? That's going to show when he actually or she actually ends up talking to a referral source, to a doctor, to a social worker, a discharge planner. It's looking at that as like, okay, do I need to work with something here? All right? That's the next thing. And then the other part of the interview is I literally tell them, I said, instead of them telling me about themselves, I will literally say, tell me what you know about the home health industry. Tell me what you know about my company. Tell me what are the best services that can happen, that is needed, that's being given. Tell me how a home health aide can help a patient at their home. Tell me how a therapist can do this. Why I'm asking those questions? Because if you're applying for a job with me, your job is to research me. Because when you're going after potential referral sources, I expect you to research them, to know something about them before you actually meet up with them. So why wouldn't you research me if you're trying to apply with a job with me? Did you look me up in LinkedIn? Did you look me up in Facebook and Instagram? What did you do before you decided to come into the company? You see, that right there is an important thing. I'm trying to figure out, are they good at what they do? Because a real marketer will do that. Will research. They'll say, hey, Michael, you've been in this business for over 20 years now. I see that you're a nurse, so I mean, that's great that nurses are working still as administrators, as owners. What made, have him talk to me and tell me about myself or my company. The next thing that we also do is we tell them about cold calling, such an important thing. What's their experience with making cold calls? Do they know some scripts that they already have? And they say, if they start talking yes, part of our interview is literally say, here's the phone, here's 5 contacts, try to get as much information as possible, and we'll put them in the spot and make them calls. I've had it several times. Well, a person will be like, no, I don't do that. We can do that another time. No, this is part of your interview. This is part of getting this job. I need to see if you're comfortable with the phone. Right? And so these are how we slowly get rid of people that we just don't even want to bother hiring. So we put them in that situation. Okay. Then what we do is we have maybe 5 different scenarios of practice, drilling, and rehearsing. Because what happens is when we train marketers, every day we do a practice, drill, and rehearse. And that's why we share these type of informations with you. And we get hired by a lot of home health agencies to literally train their marketers. And part of the training is that we do a practice, drill, and rehearse. I'm going to say, hey, what if the doctor tells you, I'm already working with another agency? How would you respond? And I'm not saying if they don't have my training yet, right? Because if they do get hired, we put them through a whole rigorous training on marketing. But if they, for some reason, has an instinct of how to answer and they don't just say, here's my business card, please try us. If they are showing that there's doing something that could be different, that we can work with, that right there is what we're looking for. So that's part of the whole interview process, right? We're going to ask them situational questions of, tell me a time that you had a problem with somebody. How did you handle this? Tell me a time that you had one of the worst customers. What occurred? What made it happen? What made it better? I don't want to hear about what school you went to. I don't want to hear what you did at your previous job, really. I want to be able to know, what did you do to make your previous job better? I want to be able to know what made you leave that job. I want to be able to know about this person. Can they act? Can they do what they need to do? That right there is the proper interview. So, look into your interview process, have an interview process. That's something that you should do. And here's the fun part, guys. Part of our interview process, just like as we brought in the receptionist to pay attention, is that we actually bring in somebody else from one of our coworkers, either the director of nursing or even one of the QA nurses or one of our staffing people who's normally is a CNA working for us. And I have that person be part of the interview, and they can ask questions as well to the guy, because they're going to be working with him as well. And you need to start seeing how they interact, how all of a sudden this person gets talked to by 5 different people. And that right there is an interview process. So I hope you guys like this particular portion of the interview section, or learning how to do an interview when it comes to hiring a marketer. If you haven't yet, please watch the previous videos of this 5-part video series. At the same time, if you like this video, comment down below, hit the subscribe button. Also click the notification bell to let you guys know of any new videos that are coming out. The goal here at Home Health Success Academy is to be able to help you, your company, become successful. Always understand that home health marketing is easy when you know what you're doing.